let's wrap up today's session with Neeraj.
Yeah, Pradeep, thanks for that. So, flattish close for the benchmark indices. I think the Nifty and the Sensex, the divergence could well be on account of what's happening to select stocks like Yes Bank, for example. But the Nifty Bank is the clear culprit. In the morning, we thought Yes Bank will drag the Nifty Bank down. Now you have the support of the PSU banks if you're a short Nifty Bank trader, because PSU banks have cracked, and that's leading to the Nifty Bank cracking 200 points. I heard a couple of our experts speaking about opening some fresh shorts as well throughout the trading day today. Let's wait and watch if that continues on Monday. The broader end of the spectrum are probably not doing as badly, ending with a bit of green. The market breadth I know is slightly positive, but frankly, you would have to count that this is a disappointing close. For the biggest move that's happened in the PSU banking space, the move on the stock markets or stocks lasted but for 1 day. Trading move, you can still have gains over the course of the next couple of months, as fund managers told us, but the trading move was just too short in terms of the time duration. What's happened today in terms of gainers? Adani Port up about 4.5%. These are the Sensex gainers, mind you, so won't feature maybe a Yes Bank on the losing side. But Sun Pharma, ONGC, the Tata Motors twins, both the DVR and Tata Motors are up about 2.5%. And some result boys saw ICICI Bank ahead of the numbers is up about 1%. And there is some Maruti. I was looking for Maruti. Yeah, it's ending the day very, very flat. So no moves at all in Maruti. What about the losers? Let's take it to the bottom end of the screen. And Bharti out there as the top loser, down about 4.5%. State Bank of India, 3.5% down now. That's seeing some cracks. Wipro, Reliance, a heavyweight. HUL down about 1% as well. And HDFC Bank out there somewhere 0.5% down. But clearly, you would have to argue that it's PSU banks, to an extent telecom, and I'm using Reliance or clubbing Reliance as a telco out there, which are the key culprits. Navneet, what about the broader end of the spectrum?
Well, bunch of stocks, Neeraj, which were in focus today. And let me start off with the result reactions. United Spirits was your top gainer. In fact, a lot of open interest addition was seen. But as we mentioned, we will be watching out for the delivery numbers today, because it looks like there was some sort of cash-based buying. So United Spirits was up almost 18%. It did come a little bit off day's high, but still closing with strong gains. And with that, you also had United Breweries inching higher in today's session. That stock closed with gains of almost 5%. V-Guard was the other counter which posted its numbers post-market hours yesterday. Strong set of numbers coming there. V-Guard was also up. Heidelberg, just in that last hour of trade, good set of numbers. The stock was locked in upper circuit with gains of almost 20%. Okay, it ended also there. So good gains for Heidelberg Cement. And Steel Authority, this is one counter which has been inching higher in the last 3 to 4 trading session. Today also, it was a positive day for sales. So closing with gains of nearly 4%. And Engineers India, REC, both these stocks continue their run on the upside. Engineers India up almost 7.5%, and REC up for the third straight session was up nearly 4%, reacting to its numbers 2 days back. But the move continues for Emami. From the pharma space, you had stock like Wockhardt. The entire pharma space was up and about, and Neeraj was talking about the PSU Bank, just talking about two laggards here. IDBI and Allahabad Bank were top losers here, Pradeep.
That's probably a good sign that, not so good banks are leading the declines. Well, let's look at how Nifty stocks really fared today. So this is a 45-55 kind of a number. No, not really 50-50. There are a few more gainers than losers, but more or less even fight between the gainers and losers today. Well, Neeraj has already discussed the gainers and top gainers and losers. So let's move on and see which were the heavyweights really driving the index today, up or down. So contributors should come on your screen now. On the positive side, you had Sun Pharma, TCS, Tata Motors and ONGC. So from various sectors, we saw support coming in. But on the flip side, we had telecom. That was the big drag on Nifty today. Both Bharti Airtel and Bharti Infratel together contributing around 16 points in today's trade on the negative side. Well, if index is almost 50-50 or 45-55, how does the overall market look? More or less the same. So there was an even distribution between gainers and losers in today's trade, if you look at it. Well, before I wrap up, let's have a look at how SBI and PNB, the two important banks, have done. What is interesting to see here, you see a kind of sharp up move and then a correction. In fact, you can't really see the extent of correction on this chart, but actually both these stocks have almost given up around 35 to 40% of their gains over the week. If you look at the top that was made yesterday or the day before. What is also interesting to note in both these stocks is that, when the stocks corrected yesterday and today, if you add up the total volume in last 2 days and then you compare with Wednesday's volume, Neeraj, this is not even half of that volume in last 2 days. So the amount of buying that came in, if you compare it with selling, stocks are actually falling with low volume. Let's see if that lasts or no. In fact, on a social forecasts, I think, or other social platforms, Nitin Bajpai is asking a question. He's bought one lot of SBI futures at 330, currently trading at 317. Please suggest. I'm not surprised. I don't think Nitin's the only one. A bunch of people want this question. So before we get in, final thoughts from Natasha. Mukesh, one quick word. For somebody who is long SBI futures in the last 2 days, should he square off the positions or can he stay long?
I mean, it depends on the risk appetite of the customer. But if at all, if you ask me technically, then I think 303 or 302 is a kind of a very strong support, which happens to be the 50% mark of that bullish candle. And generally, prices do not really go much below those areas. So if he is comfortable with keeping a stop placed below 300, then one can hold.
Okay, fair call.
Stop loss which is getting executed, then one has to exit.
Okay, so if the stop loss is executed, then exit, but otherwise you can hold on to your short positions, long positions with the 302 is the pivot. Okay, quick thoughts, guys. We can't have long answers. Sarvendra, but you first, very quickly in a nutshell, the Nifty view for the next week.
I think Nifty will be range bound and 10,400 will be a hurdle for the week next. So till you don't break out past 10,400, I think it will be very difficult incrementally to add more gains. So I would say a range between 10,250 to 10,400 is what I would expect for the week next.
Okay, Mukesh, same question to you. The Nifty or the Bank Nifty? A quick view here.
Nifty, as I have covered in this update, I am expecting a bit of a pullback towards 10,200, 10,100. So the same is the case with Bank Nifty. Bank Nifty, one can have a target area of.
Oh, okay, that's the view coming in on Bank Nifty. It closed almost at day's low today. Natasha, what would your closing thoughts be? Any themes where you're bullish on?
So something that we have talked about earlier and we still continue to maintain that consumption is the big story that we're bullish on. So stocks and sectors which are either directly or indirectly related to it, we continue to remain positive on it. And at the same time, we believe that NBFCs, particularly the housing finance NBFCs, despite the fact that valuations are expensive over there, but given the concentration and focus of the government on housing, we think that that's a good area to be invested in.
All right, so consumption is the theme that's coming from Natasha. On that note, we'd like to thank all our guests, Natasha, Mukesh, as well as Sarvendra. Thanks very much for joining us.